Hello everybody and welcome back to the Black Lodge. It's me, David, at Drinks Whisky, coming to you live on a Saturday Night Drams. Hope you've been keeping well. We had our fallow week last week. As it's summer, we're doing fortnightly, so I hope that you didn't miss it too much and you were aware. If not, I can only apologise. But for basically the summer, we're going to be doing 2-week cadence. There's going to be opportunities, which I'm going to discuss about a few wee extra live streams getting flung in maybe in the summer. But we're back. It's live. It's Saturday night. I'm already seeing the chat start to fill up. It's great to have yous in. I appreciate yous as always. Hope yous are all keeping really well. Who we got in already? We've got Petehead Frank. Evening everyone. Great to have you, Frank. He's been MIA because he's been living the high life, living it up in Scotland for the last few weeks. Yes, we got Derek in. Derek, great to have you in. Dutch Jura's in, evening. Fraser's in. We've got Rob, hello from somewhere in the American Midwest. Is that because you don't know where you are? Or is it, do you think you're too remote for us to know? And evening Tim, great to have you in. Everybody, if you're new to this is Saturday Night Drams, a live stream where we just talk about all things whiskey, to be honest. Sometimes we have guests, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we have a theme, sometimes we don't. But it's just a really nice communal space for everybody that loves a dram to get together and have a good chat. Now, I'm really excited about tonight because we've had a bit of a break. There's not been a lot in the whiskey world going on the last couple of weeks, except maybe for the likes of Frank and stuff in the chat, who have been festival hopping from Campbelltown to Islay, all over Scotland. It just sounds fantastic. I've been keeping up and living vicariously through social media. Not jealous at all, obviously. But it sounds like everybody's had a fantastic time. So please, in the chat, as usual, engage. Let us know what you've been doing, what you've been having. We're going to kick off, ease into it. We're going to move to the drams and see what I've got on the table for this evening. Let's hope this works. There we go. Tonight's dram selection. We have the Woven Hemispheres. Now, I dug this out because I got it a while ago and I only had a tiny... These bottles are quite hard to see, but I only had that much out it. So I'm hoping that wee bit of air opened up. That's the collab with the Thompson Distillery in New Zealand. A fantastic distillery, producing amazing whiskey. So I've got that as a kick-off. We then have the fantastic Edition 7 Distillery exclusive. I think this was 45 quid, something like that. Mental. It's just brilliant. Fruity bomb. We've got this on the table. We've got a wee Thompson Brothers single cask, PX cask. I'll take it out of the box because it kind of betrays what's in it. But I believe this was the first release I ever did with PX. So you've got a wee PX octave there. Colour's doesn't really show up too well in it. But I did a for me or no for me on this, and if you've watched it, you'll know it was fantastic. I've got my Knob Creek 12 from the other week. Great excuse to have a bit more of that. I'm kind of eking it out, but just a quality bourbon. And then this one here, bring it a wee bit closer, is an old school, old style Ben Romack single cask. So that was bottled 2018, distilled 2009, so 11 years old. First fill bourbon, 59.8%. And you can see I've already kind of started in that. So just a wee bit of an eclectic round table as usual. Do let us know what's in your glasses. I'm going to kick off with that Woven, as I said. And normally before I start the streams, I have a wee palate cleanser dram, which this week, as you can probably see behind me, was just the Glenmorangie 12. Brilliant. It's just such a great opener. Just works really well. Kind of gets your palate used to the whiskey, and then you can really get in about it and enjoying it. Now let me take that one away. What have we got? We've got John's in. John, great to have you in. Hope you're keeping well, mate. Rob saying some guys have all the fun. I know. Doesn't he just? And aye, great fun it was. Brilliant. And he's saying, tonight, no drams for me anymore. I've had my share at SNWF in Bath Street. Brilliant. So Peterhead, Frank's in Glasgow this evening, I presume. You'll need to fill us in, mate, on your adventures. Even there'll be a lot to fill in, so don't worry about it. But you'll need to let us know a couple of your top drams that you've had since you've been over. Aye, well, cheers, guys. Great to have yous in. Delighted that yous have joined me. It's always a bit of a drama disappearing for a wee bit and then hoping that when you come back, folk will be there. Quite tight, this. It's not opened up, and then saying that, the hay fever's been horrendous here recently. We've had a lot of rain the last day. I don't know if that's made everything a bit funny. It's good. I enjoy it. It's lovely. I don't know. We're not really here for the tasting notes. On the back, what's it saying? Smoky and herbal whiskey that celebrates ever-expanding horizons of flavour. Manuka smoked, single malt, New Zealand. It's really good if you get the chance to try it. Like any of the Thompson stuff, do it. They managed to make a couple of the whiskey shows over in the UK. Their stuff's in the Whisky Exchange. It's well worth a gamble. If you just want to take a punt on a bottle, well worth a gamble. Not too expensive either. Terry's got 2 stacks, fruit drops, apple brandy finish. Wow. I need to get onto the 2 stack stuff. I know a few people rave about it. I've just never had the opportunity to try it. Evening, Mark. Great to have you in. And Tim's on the rum tonight, smalling, because it comes in at 60%. Fascinating flavour. Tim, rum is one of the things that I need to maybe, I don't know how to take a run at it. I've struggled in the past, and I don't know if my palate would have changed enough now for me to enjoy it, but I always find it a bit too sweet, almost. But it's definitely something I want to explore. Excuse me. Just get a Cadenhead's Tannic in a glass. It's great. I wanted to pull up, and I never had the time. As usual, I try and best laid plans and try and get stuff done for this stream, and had plans to get up like early this morning, and I'd do stuff with my daughter on the Saturday mornings, and then I would have had time, but we had a bit of an emergency in the household last night we thought that our dog might have ate some chewing gum with xylitol in it, which is like toxic, and then we thought no, he's not, and we went to bed, and then we woke up and he was being sick. So then I had to phone the emergency vet and then drive him to the emergency vet and deal with that at 3 in the morning, and he's fine. He's absolutely fine, but it's cost a fair whack to do that, and also just destroyed our sleep pattern. So today's been a bit of a haze, and if you follow me on Instagram, you'd have seen 25 minutes before the stream's gone live, I was still working on stuff for it, where I've tried to get it so it's a nice, easy, stress-free environment. I'm always coming in at it a bit tight to the line, but I hope you appreciate it. I know you do. Bro managed to pick up a bottle of Kilkerran 8-year-old cast strength bourbon cask this week, so that's in the glass. Fantastic. Is that the latest one or the one before? Because I've been bringing them out quite, not frequently, but there's been quite a few 8-year-old bourbon cask. But it's great. I think I've got the same one, to be honest. Aye, I do. It's in there. If it's the latest one, just good, great dram, Kilkerran. I was meant to pick up my mate, who was some of the boys that were in Campbelltown, got me a few of the Campbelltown exclusives, and I went to his last week, and we were just, I don't know why. I never took it. He's like, oh, I can go upstairs and get it, but we're out in the garden, and I was like, oh no, we'll get it whenever. and I've left them there. But we tried the triple distilled festival exclusive, fantastic. That Springbank Festival is fantastic value and great dram. I don't know if any of you guys were there who tried it. I think my mate was on like his third bottle of it. Like he was pouring it like it was water, just to anybody that would try it. So they kind of nailed it with that and the price point, which is great. For instance, tasted a lot of great drams during my trip, but as I was the motorcycle, I had to limit myself and turn a fair amount into driver drams to taste when back home. Oh mate, but even better, you get to extend that experience, don't you, when you get it home? Brilliant. Fraser just on the IPA. At the moment the beer's called Happy Chappy. Great, mate. I'm on day, I can work this back, I think I'm on day 39 with no beer, and I do miss it. Because I'm having to substitute it with other stuff when I'm out, and I just miss the pace. Evening, Donald Pass Whisky, hope you're well. And that's the November, yeah, that's the latest one, the November 24 one. Great. John's on the over to, how is that? How is it? The stout cast finish, John? Because I struggle a bit with beer finish and beer and whiskey. I mean, like and in general, I would say weirdly the Jameson stout I don't mind, but I think it's because it's so kind of weak. If that's the right way of saying it, it doesn't impact the whiskey too much, but I was intrigued by that one because I remember when it came out, it looked a really interesting one. Fantastic, look at that. Campbelltown, Isla, then Oban, Ardnamurk and Speyside, and now Glasgow. That's the absolute dream, mate. That's the absolute dream, Frank. So I hope and I'm sure that you've been well looked after and had an amazing trip. I have in the works, I have one of my close friends coming over from the US, and originally I think I've spoken about it in a stream before, but for anybody that's not aware, I was hoping to go to Kentucky again and do the Whisky Festival and that, and then the world went a bit funny, and my mate said I would love to come over and do a bit of a UK road trip, because I've not really seen much of the UK. So we were looking into it, and timings are a bit tight, but I've kind of locked in a mad itinerary for us where I'm going to be filming Drams on the Run. We're going to do some podcasting with some people. I think we're going to do some visits to some distilleries. There's a lot on the agenda over the course of 5 days. We're flying from London to Edinburgh. I've got a half day in Edinburgh, then it's through to Glasgow, then from Glasgow all the way up to Dornoch to Speyside back to Glasgow to Blackpool again, and then Blackpool back to London. And it's going to be, there's a lot of planning still getting in the works, but I can't wait. And if you guys have any tips, any recommendations, any queries, anything that you want to know more of that, let me know. But yeah, it's going to be an amazing trip, with someone like an American who's never seen that part of the world at all either, so seeing it through fresh eyes and coming at it from a different angle. We're looking at I'm going to be on the way capturing content, because I want to create more around how anybody visiting Scotland can do it on a budget. It doesn't need to be the most expensive trip of the world, because it can be. Looking into it, it can be extortionate. So really excited, got that coming. I've got a backlog of stuff I'm still trying to edit and get through and get out. We had the video go up for obviously the rare find for me or no for me bottlings. They were really kind to send out the tasting kit. Really appreciated it. There was no agreement in place for what I had to say or not say. I was kind of surprised that one of the ones that wasn't for me as well, quite honestly. And then I've recently, if you've not seen it, there's the Buffalo Trace experience that we did. That was great. Again, full disclosure, Kyle's a mate. He's a manager there. He invited me along. I didn't know what I was going to. I didn't know who was going to be there, but really enjoyed it. Had a really good time with it. And I think even if you don't like bourbon, it's an eye opener. It's just one of those cool experiences and really good value. So I had that. I've got a for me or no for me to film that is with this. I don't know if you'll be able to see. Can you see what that is? It is indeed the Ardnamurchan, the Midgie. Graham from Ardnamurchan reached out and said, David, can I send you some of the Midgie? And I said, absolutely. Please do. So I'm going to do a for me or no for me of that. You can see I've not opened it yet, because I always do those. There's no run up, there's no prep really, but what it is, I like to hit that. So we've got that coming. So I'm really excited summer of keeping stuff coming out, because it can be quite a quiet period. And obviously the live streams fortnightly, we're going to keep them going. I know as often as you guys are here, I'll be here, as you know. I'm just going to go through the chat. Let's see. Tom's in evening, finally gave in. Joined SMWS, so my welcome bottle, Highland Park 12-year-old bit. Brilliant. That's a good welcome bottle to get as well, because sometimes they used to be a bit. And on that note, there's a mystery double pairing at the moment. I think it's 120 quid. And you would think it'd just be a bit of dross, but someone I know's friend ordered it and got one of the Paul Johns and a Bowmore. So like, I've got no affiliation with SMWS, so amazing if that's the case. I think that the pricing's starting to come down a wee bit on the bottlings as well, which is positive. And always look on any of the cashback sites, like My Top Cashback or Quidco or whatever, because there's sometimes deals as well where you get like 10-15% cashback on bottles. No need to apologise at all, Frank, don't worry about that. Evening Julian, great to have you in. Evening Kodja, hope you're well. Mike B, hi David, no, just passed through, got your drams on the runzine, excellent stuff. Brilliant, Mike, I'm so glad it got to you. I've had messages from people that they've started to receive them from, like, I was kind of I don't know if overwhelmed's too big a word, but I was really shocked and delighted by the starting the Patreon, but also the uptake and people that have committed and kind of shown a bit of faith in me with it. And obviously sending them out, I keep this in front of the camera, the Drams on the Run zine. For anybody that doesn't know, anybody that's maybe missed the last couple of weeks or that when we've been talking about it, basically it started Patreon. I've been posting bits and pieces up there. I try and do some content on there that's a bit more just Patreon focused, just wee short content. We've got chat on there, and it's slowly getting there. I need to, again, commit a wee bit more time to it and understand how best to use it. But I wanted everybody that was on there to have something a bit tangible. And so I created a zine, a Drams on the Run physical edition for London, that basically, using my experience and my honest opinion of where to buy and where not to buy in London, and watching out for some tourist traps, but then also speaking to quite a few people and getting like an insider's guide to whiskey buying and where they would recommend. It's got maps, where you drink, where you buy, and I pinged them out, and like it was funny going to the post office and buying, like I had to buy Euro stamps, worldwide stamps, UK stamps, and then the next batch had to go out and I had to buy Euro stamps, worldwide stamps, and UK stamps again, and I was like, this is mad. That I'm sending it to the like 4 corners of the globe. So mate, I really appreciate that. A lot of time and effort. I hope you appreciate the time and effort that's went into it. I think most of the feedback I've had from it, well, I say all of the feedback is they can tell that there was a lot of work, a lot of time and effort went into it. So really appreciate it, mate. I did wonder, Codger. I know I figured you'd liked your music, but dramas as well. Dunrobin Castle just past Donald is beautiful. If you go, check the times online so you can see the Falconry show. Also, Bal Blair, you can see the way up or back as it's south of Donald. Yeah, the drive up to Donald's going to be evening, like I think we'll be leaving Glasgow like 5 o'clock, so we're not going to get to Dundalk till 10, give or take. But sunset's not till 10, so it'll be a lovely drive, and I think we're going to go the long way round to take in Loch Lomond, Loch Ness, do all like. But we'll see. We'll make a decision on the day, because I don't want to be spending an extra hour or so driving. If the weather's bad or whatever, we'll have a wee look into it, but I appreciate that. Thanks for that. Tim's asking, what's in Blackpool? I've got a video from last summer up about Blackpool bourbon. There's a bar in Blackpool in a B&B, bed and breakfast, that has the most wild selection of whiskey and bourbon you could imagine. Like, great, really good. They do single barrel bottlings, and they do all this amazing stuff, and you wouldn't know unless you knew. So we're going to go there, but also my mate's from America, and I just really want to take him to Blackpool. He wanted to see something a bit weird, and I figure Blackpool ticks that box. A British seaside town that maybe had its better days a few years ago. So we're going to go there on the way down, because we can get the train from Glasgow, and then we can get the train from Blackpool back to London, so it cuts out the driving. Tom needs to get up. Yeah, I've never been. I'm dying to get to Dornoch, so any excuse, and this is a perfect excuse. And he's already hooked, because I said, do you want to stay in a castle? And he's like, absolutely. So I'm really looking forward to it. Tim's saying, yeah, it's a whole other different thing. You had to venture into Long Ponds and other Jamaican rums. Yeah, talking about the rums. Jeff, great to have you in. Jeff Whisky's in. Evening, David, and you wonderful drinkers. Jeff got one of the drams on the run. I pinged him one over, just to basically see what because he's a guy that likes his design and stuff. And I just thought, you know what, I'll send it over when he's up in London, because he comes up to London every now and again. But also he's just had a new baby. Added another to the brood, and I know that those late nights and the glow of a phone is not appreciated at times, but sometimes you just need something to read. I don't know how you do it in the dark if you can't use a phone, but you know what I mean. So I sent him one over to enjoy. Like saying, Donald's a beautiful spot. Yeah, it looks fantastic, the beaches and stuff. So I'm really excited to have the morning there as well. Get up, and I don't know how much whiskey stuff I can do. It depends if Jack can drive maybe a wee bit of the Speyside from Dornoch, and then I can do maybe a morning dram of that. But we're looking at some content stuff while in Dornoch. The guys up there are always really enthusiastic and helpful. Anytime I meet them in London and that, so I've already reached out to Simon. Fingers crossed. And Codger's been to a KC barbecue event today, so suffering from meat sweats, but I'll cope somehow. I'm sure you will, mate. Did you have some bourbon with that, or were you on the scotch? Kil's saying there's an American who's been to Blackpool for a mate's stag do when in grad school. It's interesting for sure. Closest thing I can compare is Atlantic City or Reno, but in the north of England. Yeah, exactly. And he knows that. He originally comes from Philly, East Coast boy, lives in LA now. And I just thought, he does a bit of work over here and stuff, but I just thought I'll take him somewhere that I used to go. A lot of Glaswegians would go to Blackpool on holiday. I used to go as a kid. And that was part of the reason we went last year, was just to break up the drive to Glasgow as a midpoint. And I thought we can get a hotel and we can stay overnight. And I can show my wife, because she'd never been, and the weather was terrible, even though we went up in like August. But it's just an interesting place. But that bourbon bar being there makes it so much more enticing, because really it's no getting any people that don't know it's there. And the pours and the pricing's unbelievable. So if you've not seen the video, there is a video on the channel, Drams on the Run. I think it's called Blackpool Bourbon and something else. I can't remember the full name of it, but it's a funny watch, I would say. You need to excuse me sniffling, because this hay fever is just not fun. Codger was on the beer now, an easy dram. Deanston 12, yeah, absolutely. Talking to Thompson Brothers, talking to Deanston, I picked up, which is in storage at Dornoch at the moment, and it's available online at other stores, their Deanston bottling. That seems to be super waxy and stuff, so I'm excited for that. If anybody's had it, please let me know. And then Mike's saying close, he meant, you guys can see his next reply, close to the Lake District, but it's just stunning. It is. The problem is we don't have enough time to do some of like the more scenic, beautiful stuff and try and drive these places and stuff. So that's why the decision was made. We'll fly London straight up, because he's staying, we're away for my daughter's birthday, and then he comes to London the day after, and he's staying in central London, and try to work out getting to him in a car early enough, and then having to do like a 9-hour drive or an 8-hour drive to Glasgow, and then try to kick on from there and try and do stuff. You're kind of battling almost no jet lag, but just fatigue. So the decision was, like, if we fly up early doors to Edinburgh and do like a good 5-6 hour stint in Edinburgh, half day, and we can walk around most of the sites, do the Royal Mile, go up the Mound, you know, like go, like, it can be done quite quickly. Have a bit of lunch, swing by the Bow Bar, early opening for a pie, you know, do a bit, go into Ensign Ewart, show them some of that stuff, show them some of the closes, the World's End, and Greyfriars Bobby, and whatever you can, and then through to Glasgow just for the car. That's the only reason we're going. It was like 200 odd quid difference to hire from Glasgow Airport or Edinburgh Airport, and I'm like, for the sake of 20 quid in an hour, we'll just get it from Glasgow and then we can shoot straight up. So we're doing that. So that's kind of the download for the intro period. I've been working away on some stuff. It's not still quite where I want it, some other bits, but this being edition 1, and I've had a couple of people ask me, like, is there any plans to do anything else to that? There is. Edition 2 is in the works, and it's going to be, I was going to keep it like a secret, but again, it's going to be Patreons only will get it first opportunity of it. At the moment, Drams on the Run is only available to Patreons. You'll get it either digital or physical, depending on what tier you subscribe to. I did leave it, so it take a wee while to get it, because, to be honest, the cost involved and stuff, I've kind of taken a hit on it, but I don't care. I don't care, because I'm really happy with it. But the next one will be, and I've just seen that. How you doing, mate? Hope you're keeping well. The next one will be the Central Belt. It's going to be Glasgow and Edinburgh combined. I'm going to do a Glasgow and Edinburgh Drams on the Run, which is going to be great fun, because I'm going to have to research stuff to do it. So I'm really excited for that. The Glasgow one I've got a good steer on. The Edinburgh one will need a wee bit of work, and I'll need some advice, and I'll lean on people, and I'll do all the usual stuff. But while I'm there, I'll be taking photos and stuff, because everything in it is mine. And so we'll be doing that. So that will be the next one, but that will be in a couple of months' time. The idea is it to be quarterly and come out and get that done. But as it's coming up to 10:30, it is time for, which is probably making us rough a rod from our own back, it is time for us to go and visit the news. Hello, and welcome to the latest whisky news from Drinks Whisky. Kicking off this week, we have news that Woven Whisky are unlocking their archives for a special sale of sorts. Digging deep into them, they are offering from Monday the opportunity for you whisky lovers to get in there and discover some of their amazing blends from the past. It's exclusive to those that have signed up on their website, and there's still time to get involved, so go visit them. Next, Ardnamurchan released their second batch of their ode to the Scottish pest, the humbling and infuriating Midgie. Retailing at £53, the Midgie comprises of 50% ex-bourbon barrels, 48% port barriques, 2% sherry casks. It's 75% to 25% unpeated to peated spirit. 48%, and the general consensus is that it's another great release, and I myself look forward to trying it. The London Distillery Company has this week released the Renaissance Revival bottling. Having been acquired by Glenmore in 2023, you may know them as producers of the Rarefine series. They appointed Matt Mackay as MD, both Master Distiller and Managing Director, this year in January. The whisky has been crafted from the final cask produced at the distillery between 2010 and 2020. Bottled at 58%, only 410 bottles were made available, and they're exclusively available through Berry Brothers and Rudd at £89. Now, with Fish Isla having taken place, I thought we could do a quick look at some of the bottles released during the festivities. First up is Laphroaig with their Cardis Lore Cask Strength release coming in at £89 for 59.6%. Then, from reasonable price, we head to Bruichladdich, where their festival bottle outturn for Octomore, the Polyphonic, comes in at £300. At 15 years old, this is the oldest Octomore released to date. At 54.9%, it's already sold out, so to be honest, no FOMO from me. The festival release was the Port Charlotte single cask, full term maturation in a Muscatel cask. It's 19 years old, 53%, and was limited to only 667 bottles. It's another that's flew out the door and sadly not available, but again, at that price, I'm not too worried. And lastly, from the Isle, we have the Ardbeg Smoky Verse, 48.3% with no age statement and coming in at £95. You would have seen a lot of folk receiving this online if you were on Instagram. Can't say I saw too much in-depth reviews of it though. It's still available and I'm waiting to hear if it's worth taking the plunge. Now, moving away from the festivities, here at Whisky News we thought we would bring you some choice picks, or rather pick-me-ups, that are recently available. House of Malt have the very, very, very drinkable Glenmorangie Quinta Reuben for £38. Now, that's worth it in anyone's money, in my opinion. Dunkeld Whisky Box have the recently released Thompson Brothers bottling of Royal Brackler for £45. Another cracker of a drinker if you're in search of one. Now, I can't say I've had this one, but at £27 I'm extremely tempted to try it. It's the Glenfiddich Experimental Fire and Cane, and it's available on offer at Master of Malt. Dad's Dram Blended Malt from the Whisky Exchange is a perfect pick-up for Father's Day, or any day really, at £40. I've tried that one and it's a belter. Now here's a cracker, something a little bit different. So the fine folk at the Ensign Ewart Bar in Edinburgh have available online the Glenallachie bottling for the independent whisky bars of Scotland, available at £75. There's this 26-year-old Glen Elgin exclusive to the Whisky Exchange from Rarefine for £140. And lastly, we have the first ever Torreveg independent bottle release, courtesy of those folks in Donnock, the Thompson Brothers. Now this is one that I definitely can't wait to try. And finally, to keep you all in the know, I have it on good authority that we can expect the latest batch of Springbank to be in stores and released this week, just before Father's Day. I've yet to receive full confirmation of what bottles are coming, but they should be available by Friday. So if you're in the know and you have your local shops, please do have a word, and good luck to you. As always, I've been David, you've been there, and you've been watching Whisky News. Good night. So there you go. I do wonder why I do it myself at times. I like to make life hard for myself. Every day's a school day when I'm doing that. The quality makes me cringe. So I'm learning that I need to download stuff at a far higher quality. But you're learning. Green screen work is not easy, so I hope you enjoyed that. But I just thought a wee add-on of like bottle tips and stuff that's coming out, and it's available at the moment. What's interesting is we talk about it all the time in here, but it's just quite handy. Somebody might miss a chat or whatever to see like some good bottles that they had, and I've just seen there I saw that John was mentioning as well that Arnaho released one as well. Yeah, I just pulled a couple. I never went through them all. There was Lagavulin ones and stuff that I've mentioned before. I just thought there was some interesting ones. I thought the Brute Laddie, that pricing is just a bit mental, because you're at the people that go, and maybe Frank can correct me on this, but you're going all the way to Rocknadal and you're paying all the money for that, and you're staying on the island and it's no cheap, and then you get there and they're like, there's your bottles, 300 quid or close to 300 quid. It just feels a bit, I don't know. I'm not having a go at them, it just feels a wee bit, I don't know, expensive for all that stuff. Right, let me come back. Who else we got? Jeffrey saying hello from Delaware, USA. Mate, I've been to Delaware. I used to have a t-shirt that just said Delaware. Used to pass through it when we go up and down the East Coast at work. James is in. Good timing for the bargains. Bargains indeed. That, I've never had it, that Fire and Cane Glenfiddich, but at £27, is it that bad? Or is it worth picking up at £27? I nearly put the Kalila 12, which is on Amazon at the moment, for £39. The original bottling. It's probably the lowest I've seen it in a couple of years, but I could be wrong. Frank saying the only real gem for Ali for me is the second Feist release from Ardnaho, and yep, as used to be, you had to be on the open day to pick it up. Brilliant. Mate, you deserve it then. And I'm glad that stood out. I think what they're doing is going a wee bit under the radar. If I'm honest, I don't think it's getting spoke about enough, Ardnaho, but she's great. Let's keep it that way. Let's keep picking up some stuff up. I hate when that happens. Why is that happening like that? Let me lock that. That shouldn't happen. Right, okay. Where else we got? You look like you came from a church or a wedding, all very dapper. Was that for the news report? Oh, that's just David, news reporter. He's always very, very dapper. It has to be. He's presenting the news, isn't he? But I appreciate it. Didn't feel very dapper at all. I'm just saying this, and I'm just waiting for the message. It's weird. There's a wee bit of delay. Yeah, there we go. Message coming in there for Cujo. Hey folks, just jumping in. I thought the Optimore PC was well too rich. The Brute Laddie they released on the day was reasonable. 80 quid for a 15 sherry bottle. Wasn't cheap, but it was fine. Yeah, it just, that distillery as well, they've got a lot of good faith. People like it. People like them. Reward them. Do what Ardnaho's doing. Give them something that's just for the people there, and you'll win a loyal, like you'll win them for life. So it's a little bit of a shame. And Kyle, inaugural hit Total Wines in the US, grabbed one last month, already grabbed a backup. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. I've tried it a few places. I never picked any up. I need to pick some up. It's definitely on my list of things to pick up. And Whisky Friend Alan's, he's saying, hey Frank, managed to pick up the Ardnaho. He doesn't think it's as smoky as the 2024 bottling. It'd be interesting. What is the actual, it'd be great to know, guys, what's the actual makeup of it? What have they put out? And Rob's not been able to see it yet in the States. I think it'll just be down to distribution, Rob, to be honest, and getting that amount out and trying to get it there. There we go. We're moving on to number 2. I am going for the Knob Creek. We're talking about the US. 50%. It's the lowest proof on the table. But can I really get the 12 here? This was one I brought back last year. It's I wouldn't say, I think it's pretty easily available in the States. I don't think it's too hard to do, to get. And I think it retails about, depending on your state, I think about $65-70 a bottle. So it's not like super expensive, but it is definitely a step up from the 9, the standard kind of Knob Creek 9. I had my mate that's coming over, he's like, right, what can I bring you? And the last time he got me the Dickel 15-year-old. And Dickel's going under a resurgence in the States. And you find the price start to creep up, especially for the older age stuff, as people realise, oh, actually it's quite good. And I said, oh, if you can get me another Dickel 15 single barrel, delighted with that. And then he said, anything else? And you know, that way you're like, oh, anxiety of choice, let me see what I could get. And then there's a bottle by Beam, and it's the one that's behind me, that one right there. I had it first time there, right above me. The little book that I bought, that was a birthday present from my mum. She gave me money when I was out there, and I bought that, and I've never opened it. And I will, but it had phenomenal reviews. I think that's chapter 7. It had fantastic reviews online, so I'm not worried about opening it. When it comes, it'll be amazing. But they brought out one called the Infinite, and it's got basically whiskey from all the Booker family, the grandfather, the father, the son, that they had made. So like old whiskey in there. And when that came out at the tail end of last year, it had unbelievable reviews. Or maybe it was the beginning of the year, but it was a while ago anyway. It was at least 6 months. But it's, fingers crossed. I've said to him, if you can find it for me, I'd love you forever. But if you could bring it over, so I've got my fingers crossed for that. But outside of that, there's not a huge amount that he's going to be able to pick up in LA. That way, weirdly, he can pick up some great Scotch. I think it's K&L Wines in California, in LA. They do a few things, and they get the Redacted brothers, the Thompson brothers stuff and that, so I'm quite tempted to maybe get them to just pick me up a bottle of something from there where it's got that just for the shelf. Because you're saying, I completely agree with that. Very few distilleries do these days. Springbank, Glenmurray, Ardnamurchan. I can tell some stories about Diageo store pricing, but no one will be surprised. Yeah, it is a gripe, and I found it last year when I went up, when I was up there, and I went into Glenallachie and stuff like that, and any handful was minimum like 150 quid, and I'm just like, nah, I'm alright. I wouldn't pay that normally for a bottle to drink, so why would I start now? And I miss Glenmurray, and I wish I'd went, because I saw other people go there, and I saw how cheap it was. And by cheap, I don't mean cheap whiskey. It was just like priced so fairly. So you live and learn. The Diageo ones are the Diageo ones. You get what you get there. We know that. They're geared very much towards the tourist trade. Deanston they were alright. It was a wee bit expensive at Deanston as well when I went. It's in the video. I did a handful, but it wasn't for me. It was for one of my mates. My whiskey group asked me if I could do it, and then I got almost like a wee takeaway. So I got to try it. It was lovely, but just couldn't bring myself to do it. And the fish bottle was 5 first fill bourbon casks. Right, brilliant. I can get plenty of Knob Creek here, yeah, I'm sure you can. And it's K&L, it's the only Thompson ex-Redacted brothers imported in the US, right? Yeah, got you. That explains it, because when I've looked online, that's normally where I look, just because I know they're like the ones to do it, isn't it? Really, in California. Well, we've got Alan, the whiskey friend, in. He reminded me the last time he was on the stream of something, and it's not something that I ever really normally think about, but I am going to ask you, people watching, if you've not already, if you could hit like. So apparently if you hit the like button, it helps push the stream out to people, even on catch up and stuff. And I normally get decent catch up numbers, but if you can hit the like button, really appreciated. Doesn't mean anything for you guys. You guys are already watching. You'll know my stuff's going to be live, but it will help me kind of extend out to people. Something I'm trying to do, because I don't know what's happened. The whiskey videos have went, like, I'm not getting the reach that I used to get when I do stuff. And I was watching Aquavita the other week, and I commented something, and he's like, "Oh, nice to see you. Are you still making videos?" And I was like, I've been churning out videos this year. I've made more videos this year than any other year. And it just was then I was like, yeah, because no one's seen them. I'm not getting the reach. And you can complain about it and say you're getting this or that, but it's more just, it's been quite funny. that the push hasn't been there, and then occasionally videos will pick up and get pushed out a lot. But to people that I don't know, like I had the Johnny Walker Black Label one, and it spiked, and it was a ton of Indian traffic, but they were watching it for like 10 seconds and then stopping, and I was like, what are you expecting? I don't know. And I don't know if that's detrimental to me, because people watch and then click off right away. So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. But any support that you guys can offer via the likes and like comments, whatever, much appreciated. I'm still trying to understand how to keep it going, but I'm happy with the tribe that I've got. Let's put it that way. I'd rather a smaller one than a big one that nobody chats and there's no community there. Knob Creek, it's lovely. It's a little bit. There's a bit more pepperiness to it. I don't know what the mash bill is on it. They don't really put any of that stuff on here, which is strange. But Americans seem to just know offhand, like mash bill makeups, but nothing, a little bit more peppery. I'd say there's a bit more rye in there. So, on the news, you would have seen that we had the Woven release. So that was part of the reason I picked the Woven bottle tonight to start. The Hemispheres. I don't know if it was intentional. I don't know if I've missed something of that. But if you search, I was looking for some research about it because I've seen it on social. If you go on, tell you guys, there's no too many of us, you know, on this stream and on watching on catch up before Monday. If you search Woven archive bottles, the page is live, I think, and there's some cracking deals on some cracking whiskey. You're talking like half price on some of the bottles. I never had the time. It was literally an hour before I went live that I tried that, and I was like, oh my god, I'll need to remember to do this. But that's my tip for you. Definitely have a look. The Peachy is the most famous one, and it's fantastic. And it's fantastic for a reason, and it's done so well because it is fantastic. I remember at the Whisky Fringe last year, Pete made a halftime oranges bottle, and it was just citrus explosion, just oranges. He knows what he's doing, that man. So definitely worth a look if you want to pick one up and try it. There's some cracking bottles. And then we moved on to the Ardner. We had the Midgie, as I mentioned, and I'm going to definitely be doing a for me or no for me on it. I don't think I tried I'm trying to remember if I tried last year's batch, if it passed me by or if I had it or not. So I'm looking forward to that. And then the London Distillery Company on that news was an interesting one, purely because having Matt Mackay in there, who's the Drambler, who previously was at Bimber. We don't talk about Bimber much anymore, for the reasons that happened there. It'll be interesting to see. Glenmore, I think, are making moves in the right way with it. But in the current climate and stuff like that, it'll be an interesting one to see if they're maybe going to go try and take the crown from Bimber for the London whiskey, so to speak. James, I did pick up a 9-year-old NGP Pinhook Vertical Series. Great nose on it, but a little hot in the hug. 114% proof. Aye. Pinhook's got some good stuff out there. There's the other one, the Penelope stuff. There's a lot of NGP as well. I looked at the NGP stuff. The Penelope stuff. And Pinhook. So it's a bit like the is it Redwood Empire stuff as well, where I'm just not too sure. I'd love to try before I commit to asking somebody to get me a bottle. I don't, honestly, Rob, like from a bourbon and rye, I don't mind. I don't mind either. I think I can appreciate a rye when it's a little bit different. So when I did that, if any of you guys have seen the Buffalo Trace video that I put out just recently, the tasting, the bottle I selected, I was the only person that selected the barrel that I selected, and it was it had this quite strange palate to it that was very rye-ish for Buffalo Trace. And speaking to Kelly, he's like, yeah, you've done that because you like a bit more rye. And I said, no, I done it more because I like something that's no like Buffalo Trace. I wanted something that if somebody comes and I open it and say, try this, what do you think this is? They're not going to say it's Buffalo Trace. They're going to say, oh, I think it's that. And I'm going to go, no, actually, it's Buffalo Trace. Same mash bill, same this. It's just the warehouse in the wood. So that's doing it. I would probably say, though, if somebody straight up was like, do you want a rye or a bourbon? I'd pick a bourbon. To answer the question straight. James thinks it's 75% corn, 30% rye, 12% barley. Yeah, I just feel like Knob Creek's a little scratchier than like a Four Roses, but then you get Four Roses and you've got the different recipes and mash bills and stuff. There's just something a little bit more. It could be the wood. Yeah, the glass of the Midgie out at dinner. How did you find it? How did you find it? I really should have did the research. I did the research on what this one's composed of, but definitely for me or no for me, I'm going to look at what the first batch was made of and how similar it was. I think it's a great idea of having this annual release as opposed to this constant like Ardmore can have a lot of releases. They do have a lot of releases, and how long that can be sustained in the current climate will be questionable. But having a series that's like, right, the Midgie is this, and they'll still do their single casks, and then they've done mezcal, they've done rum. It'll just be interesting. They did the Madeira one. They've got quite a lot of that going on. They'll have Paul Noir, that's due soon as well. That's normally around about July. So they do put out quite a high output of bottlings, but the industry seems to be contracting a wee bit. I just wonder how many more of them you can do. Like, I've not seen much. Maybe I've missed it. I've not seen much Lot Leah ones come out. Then Alan, the Whiskey Friend, just click the bell, fellas. I'm not getting any notifications of your videos. Clicking the bell, I'll get them all now, fella. See, mate, like, you know what you're doing. You've got it right. Guys, I need to say that then, don't I? I need to say, click, if you can, hit that bell. Like, subscribe, all the things. And it used to be a joke when you watch YouTube videos and people go, like, subscribe, hit the bell. Makes a difference. It really does. It really does, because you just see the drop off of like video views, and I'm just kind of wondering like what happened. And I thought maybe it's a downturn and stuff, but then weirdly, like, the supermarket video goes mental, but it's mental in like South America and all that. And they watch it, and then they might subscribe, but they don't want to watch any of the other videos, because the supermarket one I don't really talk much, so they can get away with watching that. But slow and steady wins the race. The videos are still getting made. I'm still putting out stuff that I'm enjoying making. I really enjoyed, I said to my wife after I'd finished making the Buffalo Trace video, I said, I actually feel like that's the closest video I've made in a while to what I want to make. Like the way I made it and just the vibe of it. So there'll be a wee, not a step change, but I think I mentioned it before, that the March Dram Madness kind of made me appreciate making the type of videos I make, as opposed to just churning out content, which is hard enough as in itself. It's really hard to sit down and do this consistently. I'm a fan on an Ardmore kick right now, and it went down really well. I don't like all the bottles of rum and mezcal are two examples I did not enjoy. Yeah, I've not picked them up because I'm not a fan of rum finish and mezcal finish normally. The mezcal finish for me is just a bit, no for them, but in general, I find that a wee bit overindulgent, because if I wanted a smoky finish, I would just go for a PT type whiskey, as opposed to something finished in mezcal. But the spirit doesn't lie. The spirit's fantastic. Right, let's see. So this evening, we've not got any fixed agenda. So guys, I'd put out on Instagram. Any questions? But this opens up to you guys as well. We can do a wee bit of a Q&A of sorts of any questions that you have. It could be about the channel, it could be about whiskey, it could be about making the video. I don't really care. Any questions you have, by all means file them into the chat. One of the questions that did come up was, do I think, this was on Instagram, do I think there's going to be a whiskey lock? I think there is. I think we all know that. I think there is a whiskey lock. And I'll defer to like a couple of people in the chat here, like your Codgers and your Pete Heads and the whiskey friends, and who buy whiskey, a lot of whiskey. And are they buying at the same rate as what they did the last few years? Personally, I'm not. I've definitely scaled back. Occasionally I'll catch myself buying a bottle and being like, well, why am I buying that bottle? I've got one coming tomorrow. I've got the Kleinleash special release, Diageo one. It went up on Amazon last night, for like 45 quid, and it's back hit selling for 145. And I wouldn't even think about it, just was, I'll buy that. Mate sent me it, buy it. Because it's Kleinleash in its pure form. But unless it's something as compelling as that, I'm not buying anywhere near enough. Not enough. I don't mean that. I'm not buying anywhere near enough of what I used to be buying to say I'm doing my part with the whiskey industry, if that makes sense. I'm kind of rambling a wee bit with that. We all need to buy the bottles we like. I just think there's a bit of oversaturation. I think we now are all sitting on a lot of bottles. There's a lot of value bottles out there. We have the Signatories 100s that come out, and they're just flying off the shelves, 45 quid, no gamble. Thompson Brothers, batch 2 of the mystery malt is coming. I didn't even know they were doing a batch 2, so there's another wave of mystery malts coming. Everybody likes a flutter. They're 65 quid, so it's not exactly too cheap, but they're no expensive for what you're getting. You've got all these finishes coming out. We're talking about mezcal and rums and this and that, and then you're just looking at the bottles sitting on the shelf, and you're going like, who's going out and buying, like, in the UK? Like, when was the last time somebody picked up a Tamdu? When was the last time somebody picked up a Tomatin? When was the last time somebody went, oh, I need to get a Glencadam? Like Locklear. There's so many at the moment that it is a concern. I try and keep everything light and positive and not dwell on the negative, but there's only so much whiskey you can drink, and it's the ones I've been picking up and buying. Like on this table, there's nothing newish. Maybe that Loch Lomond, but that was a deal, hence why I bought it. Behind me, the most recent, like the Glenmorangie I picked up because that's a drinker. There is the Campbelltown Express or whatever it was called from North Star. It's just it's a really tough one. But I think there is a lock. I think there is. So Stuart, I really enjoyed the Jerez Sherry video. Thank you. That was funny to make because if you watch that video, you can tell I definitely enjoyed my trip to Jerez by the end of it. And I had audio problems with it, and I had a lot of stuff, so it took a wee bit longer to make than I expected, but it's a great place. And then I discovered just recently that the cheap flights to Jerez have kind of been cancelled, so you have to go to Seville. Boo-hoo. Go to Seville. It's amazing. And then get the train to Jerez, and then go back to Seville. And you get the best of both worlds. It's fantastic. Jefferson agrees it makes him want to visit. Oh no, I appreciate that. That's what I was trying to, with these videos, the Drams on the Run and all that kind of stuff I'm trying to show it as honestly as possible and show you like you can go. I went with barely any research. I looked up famous like sherry bar. I looked up where's a good sherry bodega to go. And that was it. And it was brilliant. It was just such a lovely place to go. Rob's saying he's cut back his buying in the last 2 years. Mike's saying he's buying less but just better quality. So he's putting the money into maybe fewer but bigger bottles. Codger, 2 bottles in 6 months. Exactly, like, it's all... she was saying, well, we did get targeted by professionals in the marketing game, and I had a lot of time spare for a while. We did, to an extent. I think this time to spare was definitely a big factor of it. Because you're saying that's a question for you and others in the chat. Any upcoming bottles you're thinking about buying, or any you're considering out there already? At the moment, the one I'm trying to think. Anything out there that I'm considering. The one that I passed up on last week, and a couple of people pinged me on Instagram for it, and I really appreciate it, was at the Whisky shop. They had a sale, and it was the Chichibu On The Way bottle, and I've mentioned it before in this stream. It is phenomenal. It's like 275 quid, and it was down to like 210 in the sale, and I just still couldn't pull the trigger on that at this moment in time. It's just too much money. But the drink are unbelievable. In terms of stuff coming out soon, Paul Noir, Ardna Merkin. We've got Springbank. Springbank's coming this week. I believe there's 100 proof. Something 100 proof coming. There might be a cast strength again. Some bits. Thinking about that. But outside of that, no really. I really like the Glengarry, the rare find Glengarry I had. And the For Me or No For Me was brilliant. But again, I think it's 130 quid. And I'm no willing. I don't think I'm in the place at the moment to punt that much money on a bottle that I know I'll drink. With the stuff coming up that I'm doing and that. So they're the kind of ones I'm doing. And apologies when I'm thinking about that and I'm looking down instead of looking at the camera. It's just, I noticed in a video the other day, it's my way of focusing my brain, because I'm seeing the chat moving and stuff, so you'll need to bear with me on that. And outside of that, like anything else, I'm prone to suggestion. I think if people tell me there's something they've had that's amazing, I'll go and I'll seek that out. I'll try it first, and then if I really like it, I'll go and buy that. And then you're saying, I think I've received free emails about different €11 social. Yeah, there's a lot of socials appeared all of a sudden. Don't quite know what that's all about, to be honest. And some of the pricing of it, some was fine and some was mental. Some people have been stung on casks. John saying, no more FOMO for me. If you wait a while, you'll probably find the same bottle discounted. Yes, the sales are coming, and they're coming thick and fast. And like, I'm not saying that's why the likes of Woven and that are doing these like archive sales and stuff. No, I think they're just trying to clear their stock, which is fine. Because it's just sitting, it's money that the smaller guys, every bottle sitting on their shelf is like investment that they've put in, and it's just sitting there. Same as here, like every bottle we have on our shelves is money we have put into something, but the difference is they've put significant capital in, so they need to shift it. It's better to have something than nothing. But I do think that smaller stores, so that's why when I was doing that, part of the reason I've done that wee segment in the news about bottles and where to buy, I tried to look at shops, smaller shops like Dunkeld Whisky Box, great wee whiskey shop. If you can buy from them, and then you kind of go, oh, but it's £6 postage or £7. Come on, man, people are trying to make a living, and it's tight, so it's a bit of a weird one. There is discounted whiskey and stuff. Amazon's getting tons of it. The big players are just dumping, like Diageo's dumping a lot of the special releases on there, so you'll pick stuff up quite easy. Whiskey friend saying the shit will really hit the fan when one of the big boys, Tandugal and Canley, etc., goes tits up. Yeah, I think they lean a lot on their foreign markets and their export market, and I think those ones will be alright, but there are a couple of other ones that you think about it and you think, who's seen your brand and thinking you're the whiskey for me? I'm not going to name any names, but there's a few out there, and you're just wondering, like, what's the end game here? How are you maintaining this? There's not enough of us out there buying and drinking it to value what they're doing. There's a couple of distilleries that spring to mind, but I just look at it and I think, I don't know how you're going to survive. I really don't. But maybe they will. Maybe they've got backers. Maybe they've got big equity. Whatever. But there'll be a few that will fall away. People think, Diageo will swoop in and buy some of these distilleries and then they'll just add it to their portfolio. Like Diageo, according to news reports, Diageo's looking at selling brands because they're struggling as well. The general alcohol market is not in a great place right now. French wine makers are really struggling. Like it's so anybody that's doing well, we need to like lift them up. We need to praise them, and I think what we are very easy to do. And by we, I don't mean people in the chat. I just mean in general. I think what we're really easy to do is punch down on things we don't like or things we think aren't as good. And I don't think that's the way we do it. These are people with jobs. There is some whiskey brands out there that I think are just pretty crap. I don't care. I shouldn't have to tell people. If people are buying that whiskey and enjoying it, then they're buying that whiskey and enjoying it. There's people working their jobs there. There's marketing people and whatever. I met somebody from a whiskey brand this week, out and about in London, through sheer chance, not through a whiskey thing, nothing like that. And it was interesting speaking to them and the passion they had for their brand. And their brand's a brand that maybe people would punch down on. And it just backed up my thought of like, there's no point dumping on them. Might not be for you. Cool. If you've not got something nice to say, just don't really say it. There's times where I will go against that, but I think you just want to keep people moving forward, and that's the kind of thing. I feel like I'm getting quite serious about that, but no, it's just I think they need some support, and we can help, and we can help by no saying negative. Cool, my tip from the Malt Festival was the next Kilkerran 16 will be a sherried version. It was phenomenal at marrying strength in the 50s. It'll be brought down to 46, but it should hold up. Kilkerran 16 is great at the best of times, so that's a treat to look forward to. Absolutely. The Kilkerran triple distilled, unreal, unbelievable. Right, we're going to go. Where are we going to go? What do we reckon? I'm going to go fruity. I think we'll go Loch Lomond. Go for the Loch Lomond. So, for the folks still here, something that just popped into my head there, weirdly, popping that bottle, looking at the glass, was the Bon Accord. Has anybody heard the news about the Bon Accord? Does anybody have any insight into it? Because I saw something. Alan, Whiskey Friend heading off, David. Missy just put a movie on. I'll catch the rest up. We'll catch up. You're doing a blind tasting live tomorrow, 8 PM. Mate, if I can, I will. My 23-month-old daughter at that time of night is either asleep or fighting it. And if I can make it, I'll join. Absolutely, mate. Thank you, all, as always, for all your help. Speak to you later on. And then we've got James saying, don't know of anyone finding it. It was on Berry Brothers under Bond. I don't know if it ever got released from Bond, but it was out there. It was available, so I think it might have just went because there was only so much of it. That Loch Lomond's lovely. So I'd mentioned the Q&A, so any questions, please do file them in. But the Bon Accord, there was a post on Instagram, I think it was, this week about the license not being renewed, and I'd heard maybe a couple of months ago that might be the case, and it wasn't a license, sorry, it was the lease on the building, and the landlord asking for silly money or something like that. I don't know if it's true, I don't know if it's wicked rumours, I don't know if somebody posted something pretending to be the Bon Accord or whatever, but in Glasgow, if you don't know, the Bon Accord is probably one of the best whiskey bars that you do. There we go, Dutch Jura coming in, the lease is up within the year, Thomas is looking to purchase new premises. That's sad, man. It's sad, especially with the loss of his dad and everything that came with that. I found out, like, my family, like my dad and my uncle and that, knew Thomas's dad quite well. I never knew that at all, till after the fact. So you just hope that they'll get the support and find someone that'll fit. But mental, if you're a landlord and you're, but yeah, I don't understand it. It's really sad. But there should still be a bit for Glasgow and stuff then, I presume, if it's up within the year, or will they be gone before the festival? It's one of those. Mental. It's weird times for pubs. Weird times for pubs and clubs and all that. It seems to be dying off a wee bit. And everybody points a finger at Gen Z, being like, oh, they don't drink and they don't do this and they don't do that. And that seems to be a factor. But the generation behind them, which is now hitting 18, 19, seems to be a bit more indulgent in it. So we're going to have these swings and roundabouts, but they're no whiskey drinkers. They're not the ones going to the pubs and doing that. So it's a bit, sad times if that happens. I think in London, the London whiskey scene is... Swift have just announced, so Swift is probably one of my... probably is my favourite place to go for whiskey in London. It's reasonably priced, it's a good atmosphere, they do the best Irish coffee you'll have in your life. Don't quite understand it, but unbelievable. I think it's nutmeg on top they do. But they have launched a Swift Whiskey Club, so if you're in London, by all accounts, look on the Swift website, sign up for the Swift Whiskey Club. Their first tasting they're doing, which isn't ticketed, it's free, is with Bushmills. The lineup looks great. It's on the 30th of June. That's really promising. The others, I don't quite understand. I don't know if I don't quite understand what happened with Milroy's, with changing its name. I don't understand why they would do it. I don't understand the separation of the name into what they've done. They're now Free Greek Street, and it just never quite stuck. Dram is Dram. They seem to want to be a whiskey bar, but not be a whiskey bar, which is a weird one. So there's a bit of a weird scene in London around whiskey. You've got Melody, but Melody's in West London. It may as well be Bristol, for most people. Good bar, good tastings, but just out the way. Just really far out the way. John saying London Distillery has all sold out now. There was 24 bottles in store and the rest was sold on bond online. And James managed to say, but James, cheers David, I saw it was available for bonding, so I did 20% for release of bond, I guess. So did you manage to get one? Have you managed to pick one up? The bottles look lovely, really nice release and stuff. Just, again, I'm just being really picky with what I'm doing. I'm buying more stuff to try and open. I think even just thinking about that, that question about is there anything coming up, probably again I'll be saving my pennies for like, I need to pick up a Middleton 2025 because I collect those because I'm an idiot. I need to pick up hopefully there will be a Chichibu London edition this year. And then outside of that, it's more if something comes my way and catches my eye. I don't know if there's much out there at the moment. Is there anything that you guys are anticipating? Try to keep track of everything that's coming and going is quite it's quite difficult at the moment because stuff doesn't have the same hype. So where you would traditionally pick up the hype from like online channels or Instagram or whatever, it's not quite there anymore. I saw that the Redbreast 15, 111 quid is a lot of money. A lot of money for a Redbreast. But then you remember it comes from the same place as Jameson, same place as Middleton. The 12 cask strength is excellent. The PX, fantastic. I don't know if £111 for a 15-year-old Irish whiskey is pushing it a bit and relying on the reputation of Redbreast to carry it that wee bit extra. I'm sure anybody that picks it up, it'll be very enjoyable. $130 in the US. It's a lot of money, and I think, does that take into account though the tariffs? Because Irish whiskey will be in a bad place with these European tariffs to the US, just by default. Tom saying, I love the mystery malt experience with pals, so hope to get a batch 2 bottle as well. I'm sure you will. You can still pick up, if you are London based, in store, the Whisky Exchange. I think all 3 stores still have bottles. Behind that bottle there, that white thing you can see, is a mystery bottle that me and some mates are going to open. So it's going to be interesting. It's the Schrodinger's bottle of what exactly is in that bottle. Fingers crossed. I've not seen anybody post the old what's the one, the old Ardmore yet. So I'd love to nail that, or a Dornoch. Always happy with a Dornoch. But to be honest, they're all good. They're all alright. I know there's a couple of bottles that people are a wee bit funny about, but look, put your snobbery aside, drink the liquid, you'll have a good laugh. Plus, it's a flutter. Plus, there's a bit of fun with it. The fact they're doing this next batch round, and I think it is this month, I think it's June, the next wave's coming. They're really busy, they're really on it at the moment, the Thompson brothers. That bottle, that Torreveg, I like Torreveg, and I'm really keen to get that bottle, and I'm just holding it. I'm like, what? No, I can't do it. I'm telling myself in my head, I can maybe get it when I'm up there. You got the Bruichladdich 13 peated. How was it? How did you find it? I had a couple of mates that pulled that one, and they hate peat, and so they were devastated. And they told themselves it was going to be a lot clearer or something beforehand. And then they get the Bruichladdich 13 peated, and it couldn't have been worse for them. Aye, there you go. 2 of the guys hated peated drams, and the rest of us were delighted. Exactly. That's the way cookie crumbles. But the buzz about it is it's great. It's just a gamble, man. It's a scratch card. It's a whiskey scratch card. And it's scratching an itch that we didn't know we had. And for the Thompson brothers, fantastic. For retailers, fantastic. It's bringing a wee bit of life back to it. And it's really hard. I've passed those bottles a couple of times in the Whisky Exchange when I've been in, and been like, oh, maybe I just buy another one. Maybe I'll get that. Maybe I'll get this. Terrible. Loot boxes. It's like FIFA, EAFC. Stacey will give me a heads up. I hope full leaf whiskey if it's good. I'm not jumping on FOMO either. Yeah, I think we're all kind of just just waiting, aren't we? Like, I think that's the thing. Is it going to be good? Is it not? It's like that Arbeg that I spoke about, the new one, the Smokyverse or whatever it's called, and they punted out bottles to people, and everybody's review was the same. So it just felt like the press release. So I'll wait until I can try it, or I'll wait till somebody I know tries it, and then I don't expect these things to sell out. I'm shocked sometimes. There's some stuff that comes and goes, and you're like, oh, I never saw that coming, but you need to just wait and see. So she was excellent, like a blackcurrant lozenger with a lovely sweet smoke, brilliant. But 65 quid, delighted with that, absolutely delighted. Enjoying him his feedback on the London one. Yes, it's very good. Tried a few times before release. Bought 2 bottles. I'll probably open one next weekend. Fantastic. And James saying, cheers, John. We'll pick one up. I just saw your comment there, James. Will sample for David, please. I just, you know, leave it in the Thames. I'll pick it up for the Thames. Drop it in. And again, I've just seen the comment for John there. Stop buying Arbeg. Far too many releases to keep up with. I'm the same. I think these special releases always fascinate me because they go so hard on the marketing, right? And I'm no diminishing that, but it's so funny how they try and punt these releases, these non-age statements as well. They had to say, I nearly put it in on the bottles you can pick up. They've got Ugadal's like down to like 50 odd quid at the moment, I saw. I don't know when it became so expensive. I picked it up post-COVID at the airport, like the first time we went abroad after lockdown. I think I paid 45 quid at duty free, and it was like unbelievable. 45 quid, brilliant. Oh, here we go. Finished the bottle and then went to buy a normal bottle, and it was like 70 quid, 80 quid. And now you get these special releases. The last one I bought, which was fantastic, was a Barbecue. It was really good. And it was worth the money, but it was only like 70. I think Barbecue was like 75 quid. And everybody was like, yes, this, do this, more of this. And then they bring out the Smokyverse and it's 95 quid. And I'm like, nah, because I need to pay postage now. Now I'm over 100 quid. I can't quite line it up. It doesn't quite work. Arbeg's good. It's really good when it's good. Again, it's just one of those things where they go too far. Rob just pulled a drama. Brute Laddick 18-year-old. Check you, mate. What a dram to be pouring. Fantastic. Is it the latest ones, like with the, is it cardboard? Like the packaging that goes around it? Right, we've went from Loch Lomond. We are now going to, what are we saying? Thompson Brothers, or we'll go Thompson Brothers. 52.2. We can do that one. Bottle number 44 of 89. We're like delighted to have this. For anybody that cares. Filled 2019. Bottled 7th February 2024. 50 litre PX Octave. This one I did for me on No For Me, and it just blew me away. It's it's weird as hell in the best possible way. And by weird I mean you get Dornoch front and centre, and then the PX just slowly starts to creep out over the course of like minutes, days, hour. Like, it's mad. And even though that bottle was like over half done, I poured that. I took this round to my mate's last week, as he was dishing out the Springbanks and stuff from the festival, and I said, here, here you go. Because he hadn't tried this one. We've all tried, like, fortunate that a good few of us have tried Dornoch malt. And he was like, that's so weird, but like in a good way. It's so different. That you get that the Dornoch mezcal. It's very slight in this, but it's the PX just almost sits on top of it. No separation, but it just feels a little bit different. A little bit, they're clashing a wee bit, but then you leave it in the glass a little bit longer, and all of a sudden it goes perfect. Like it's mad. It's mad how they did it. So good. Rob saying it's the latest one. Great. It's so good. It's so good. The price point, I wish they just bring the price in a wee bit less, and we can buy some more of it. Could just saying I used to say I always like Uga more, but I'll buy a CR from Arbeg for something different. Then they started putting £100 specials that aren't as good as the 10. Exactly. They kind of went a wee bit funny with it, a wee bit with the hype. And then Smoky Burst falls into that box for me. It's decent, but I prefer the 10 when I tried them side by side, which is great for you and great for the consumer if you prefer the 10. But then, unless the 10's on offer now, the 10's coming in at like 45, 50 quid. What are you doing? Like, enough. Bring it back. That 10 should be 35 quid. Flat. Excuse me. Exactly. And that's the Brute Lad 18. You like love the whiskey, hate the price. It's unfortunate we're at that stage where cost of production's high, cost of logistics is high. Everybody's got to make a living, they've got to do what they've got to do, but can we cut it back a wee bit? Bring the price down, shift more? Surely that would be better, no? But who we say? Who knows? Right guys, we're coming into the last half hour of the evening. Again, Q&A time. Anything you want to know, any opinions, any thoughts, any movement, do let me know. We still have one more dram to go. I've got this delicious Dornoch in the glass. I've been hunting through whiskey news recently and trying to find, like, is there any other movement? Is there anything else happening in the whiskey world? And I don't think that it's been quite quiet. I know some have scaled back. I know there's been some redundancies in whiskey in the UK. But outside of that, do you think everybody's just bunkering down and trying to just pass through it? Have you guys seen any comms or any actions that make you think, oh, something's a bit, they're worried? Or do you think everybody's in a comfortable place with it? Do let me know in the chat. I think for me, we just keep the positive. We keep kind of trying to move forward. Hopefully nothing bad comes of it. Then on whiskey tourism, is there anywhere that you would love to go, or anywhere that you would recommend recommend for me to go? I've still got on my list, on my hit list, is Middleton Distillery in Cork, well, just outside Cork. And the only thing that's been stopping me is the price of Cork hotels. I can get to Cork from London easy enough, cheap enough. The problem is the hotel prices are ridiculous. I mean, like, I looked at Tuesdays or a Wednesday night in Cork. Like, fly in, do the tour, have a great time, go to maybe try and do like a drams on the run around the whiskey bars, and then, or the bars with whiskey, and then sleep, and then get home the next day. Like 260, 270 euros a night for like a Tuesday night in Cork. Like it's mental. So that's been a factor in it. Also, I tried to do that. Like I launched the podcast Drams, right, and I really had noble intentions for it, and I feel like I've let myself down. I've let you guys down, but I've been really because I'm holding core. I don't want to do it unless it's in person. Those podcasts, and that's been ultra limited. However, I do have a few people lined up to do in person. But do people care? Do people care about the in person thing? Me, I like the engagement. I thought the one I did with Marcos, I really enjoyed in person because I think we could communicate better, but also you kind of got the core of what we were trying to say, as opposed to I think when sometimes you're just on screen side by side, there's something missing. Could just be me. So do let me know. You just heard about reductions. Lag was the last I heard when lag have scaled back. They're another one, but it's horrible. Whisky's horrible because you scale back and then you could end up like Japanese, where they scaled back and then the boom came. People raved about it and there wasn't enough and all that. And I think some distilleries, that's never going to happen, but it's quite thankless task, isn't it, to keep the production going and not have it. James is saying, I enjoy the artistry of blending. Should we all start a competition with bottles we already own? Cost saving. James, I tried to do an infinity bottle and it was the worst thing I ever made in my life. I think there's some people that are phenomenal at blending. There's some people that aren't, and I definitely fall into the category of not good at it. Like, really not good at it, and that's fine. That's fine. And if you enjoy the artistry of it and you think that you have it, by all means. And I think the plan is, so part of the Drinks Whisky plan for 2025 is to do a couple of live kind of meet up events type things and around the whisky show in London being one of them, like a fringe event. I think that's the way you would call it, isn't it? But have a fringe event where we can meet up, we can share drams, we can chat, we can all have a laugh, and the reality is it won't be huge amounts of people, and some people find it a bit funny going to shows, going to see people, doing all that kind of stuff, but I think that'd be great. And I think if you, James, would like to come along and bring your blend, then by all means. Appreciate that, Cujo. Yeah, no, I think Marcos is great. He's brilliant. He does a lot of the heavy lifting just by being so like enthusiastic and vibrant about his whiskey career and what he loves about whiskey. But I thought that first session I had with him, what I really enjoyed was watching it back and like not editing it as such, but having to like sort the sound and wee bits and pieces. Was that dynamic of being in person, and we had that horrible tech issue that was all my fault. The echo chamber that interview was. But I think if I have those conversations with people in whiskey, and there's a screen in the way still, I would prefer to not have the screen. I would prefer to sit with somebody like you would in a pub, in a bar, and that's the whole point of it. Have a dram and have a chat. And I think they're better. I just think it's better, personally. But we'll see. Part of my plan is, I was thinking about, if anybody had watched it, the whiskey roundtables that we were doing last year, and kind of whiskey YouTube, and I thought, would it be interesting for people if a couple of whiskey creators got together in person and chatted in front of people with questions or whatever. I don't want to say like one of those podcast things where it's like a live show and nobody really engages, it's just a show. No, I mean like sit around like not round table, but sit in front of people, chat away, and have questions, a lifetime Q&A about it. So I'm looking into that as well, because I think that would be interesting. I think it'd be interesting to understand everybody's motivation behind why we do this. I think it's interesting to understand the motivation of the process, and like the creative process of what goes through is all. Personally, I do that mostly with cheaper bottles to lift them. Is that okay? No, I think you've mentioned that before, James, that you do. You get some cheaper bottles and then you add some really good stuff to them to bring it up. Brilliant. I just wouldn't trust myself. I'd have a cheaper bottle and pour something good in it and it'd just kill it. Wouldn't it be great if there was a whiskey influencer YouTuber stand at the Whisky show? John, honestly, I think we're in a weird place with I hate that word. Like, I don't hate. How did I say it right? Like whiskey influencers and YouTubers and Instagrammers and all that. There seems to be 3 tiers, right, of them, and then it's the audience can enjoy them all, or the audience can hate on certain ones, or they could do different things. My struggle is it's trust, and I've done a video before about can you trust whiskey influencers? Can you trust us? Because I still consume the content. I'm still a viewer, I'm still a punter, and some of them I don't trust at all. And I'm not going to go into my reasons for that, but it's, but I think the industry could lean on what we do, because like here I'm sat here, I'm making news segments and all that in my free time, punting other people's wares. I don't need any money off them. That's not why I'm doing it. I want to keep the thing going, and I think there's this hesitancy to engage with us on that level. And I wonder if that hesitancy to engage is because of that reputation of some people are less trustworthy than others. I think that the Whisky Show is such a large event, and it's really hard, and it's something I've been trying to wrangle with this year, because I've never been one to ask for like a trade pass or a press pass or that, and I think I'm going to ask, see if I can get one. I don't think I'll get one, but I might ask and see if I can get one, because I have to straddle the line of being a punter and enjoying myself and then making content, and then I'm thinking I'm paying the money to make the content. Like I'm helping other people. It'd be great. I think what they could do is tee up a wee section, a wee corner of the place, and sit down and have a chat, like where it's like maybe like live podcast style, or it could be recommendations of like your top picks of the thing as an influencer, as a creator or whatever. As I said, I don't like to punch down. I don't like to say anything bad of people. I'd rather not say anything. I just think there's some people out there that it benefits them far more. We'll just leave it there. We'll leave it there. But yes, I agree. I think at the Whisky Show it would be it'd be really funny. It'd be funny to see who gets on the stand. Imagine they were like you had to like earn your place. And then I've just seen who's came underneath. Campi Planet, Mac, you're on it. You'd be on that stand out anyway. Don't need to earn your place. You'd be a given right into it. Great to have you in the night, mate. Good to see you. Did you get your Drams on the Run? Did it make it yet to Tokyo? I'd love to know. And have I checked out the Inverurie Whisky Show, the Blether, some cracking guests? Yeah, I have, and it's been really good. And they do it all virtually, well, predominantly virtually as well. But that's I'm trying to find other people are doing that, and I just want to make sure that if I'm doing something, it's a little bit different. I want to be doing like something a wee bit different. That's all it is. You can tell I'm a wee bit stubborn about how I approach content. I like to make the really stupid, overcomplicated things. I've just seen him pop into the chat. I'm just waiting for it to load up and put him in. There he is. Highland Hamish. Hamish, great to have you in, mate. Just in after having pulled random drams at a music festival in Bewley, including Drag Act, Venus Skytrap. Before you ask, they like a cheeky highball. Fantastic. Mate, you've been going great guns on Instagram. If you're not following them, get on there. The Dram Caddy seems to be going fantastic. Delighted, absolutely delighted for you, mate. You would have missed it if you're just in. I am heading up your way the second week of July. So I was going to ping you. I'll need to ping you a message, mate, and get your advice, because I'll be up there, but very quickly. A lot going on. A lot going on. And Drams on the Run is safe in Tokyo. Brilliant, mate. Glad you got it. And hopefully it'll be of use when you come over. James just having a great time. But I think that was one of the things. So we were talking about the Whisky show and like having a stand of that. But that was part of my thinking was, could we do a fringe event? And I say we, I mean, if I connect with some other creators, the likes of Mac or the likes of Jeff Whisky and all that, to organise something where we kind of sit around and just have a chat and talk about whiskey. Would anybody care? Would anybody come along? In that respect of like being able to ask questions to us and understand stuff and meet in person and have a few drams, because I think that there's for me the compelling reason for doing that is just the connection with people, meeting people and seeing people in real life, which some people aren't keen on, and I understand that, but I'm more than happy to. I think the whiskey community is always a good one. Evening, Cool Running. Glad you joined. Just saying, Campai Planet will definitely be on the stand. Of course he will. He'll be running it. Right, time for final pour of the evening, and we're coming round to the Big Dog. And the reason I say Big Dog is because it's 59.8%. But first fill bourbon barrel, Ben Romack. And somebody made a really good point about this today that I read, is you don't see it. You don't see it independent ever, do you? And the reason you don't see independent is because it's Gordon MacPhail that owned them, isn't it? So, but they had a bit. I feel like Ben Romack went through that hyped up scale, and then it went a little bit quiet. Not Dame personally, but like the whiskey verse. But it's so good. It's so good. I think I was saying, so like the Bourbon Pursuit guys, when they do the round table, seems like a good idea. Yeah, but get together, but in person, like, and by that I mean like in front of other people. And by all means, it would be recorded. I don't know if we could make it live. That tech, maybe we need to look into, but try to pull that together. And because I was thinking about it, I was like, right, whiskey show in London is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it's quite difficult to do the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So then I was thinking maybe we do something on the Thursday evening, but with people being in town, etc., and you're trying to you're trying to get ahead of it, and then you've got to look at like, oh, are people going to be here? Are they going to accommodation, pricing, and blah 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 blah. But the value, I think, of having people in a room together to talk about it, and then I've thought about it from a, well, maybe it'd be good to get some whiskey creators, for lack of a better word, and whiskey makers in a room together and have a bit of back and forward as well. And you can ask the questions, no controversial questions, but you can ask questions about the whiskey process and how's the year been and whatever, and still have an audience there as well to engage. So do let me know. It's on my list of things I'm trying to work out. And if not for London, definitely Glasgow. I've got a venue in Glasgow lined up to do something along those lines. Small, intimate. It'd be on the Thursday, probably. The Thursday, maybe the Friday before. It depends on what else is happening in Glasgow that time. But, and again, I'm not doing it to make any, just for disclosure, to make any money. There's no that at all. It's just a way of connecting. And Highland Hamish didn't end up getting a bottle of the Kinheads Cask Strength Glenallachie after all from Woodwinters to Whisky Friend. Hamish, Whisky Friend, he's off. His missus put on a movie, so he got called to the movie sofa. But he's doing his live stream tomorrow if you want to catch up with him. It's very good, isn't it, Ben Romack? It's very good. I feel like when I do these live streams and I don't give you the full tasting notes, I feel like I'm cheating you, but you guys know, if you're watching this, if you're at this stage of the live stream, we're almost 2 hours in, you're a whiskey person. You know that that's good. Let me pull this up. Rob, you said this sounds good. Talking about, I presume, what I was talking about. From an American point of view, what do you guys watch? What do you guys like prefer? Because there's a lot of stuff that we would, I say we, like UK based whiskey creators would put out that maybe you don't get. How do you like meet that? If that makes sense, like how do you meet that and go like, oh, they're talking about this independent bottler, they're talking about this, talking about that. Do you just skip over it? Do you engage just to understand maybe distillery or spirit? Be really interesting to know. Oh, it's done it again. Done it again. That should have been locked. There we go. T-shirt. I had a DM on Instagram asking me about T-shirt. This was you might have seen it before. This was just a test. Oh, I'm doing it the wrong way. It's just a test. For a wee bit of merch. We have the Springbank T-shirts. I say me. We have the Springbank T-shirts, which are funny and a bit crap, and they were meant to be funny and a bit crap. And so I was looking at stuff that we could do a wee bit better. And this was the test one, and I wasn't 100% happy with the embroidery, but I think we can maybe sort that out. And it's embroidered, it's not print. I purposely went for something a bit more robust. But looking at that, looking at some other wee bits of merch, try to sort what would actually be good. But at the moment, as I mentioned at the start, if you've just joined late, guys, mentioned at the start, it's the second edition of Drams on the Run. It's taking up my time at the moment. We're looking at Glasgow and Edinburgh for that second one. And as you can imagine, there's a lot of... I've already had some back and forward with some people, and there's a lot of controversy about good pubs, bad pubs. places to go, not places to go, where to buy, where not to buy. There's nowhere near like on the London scale, London being such a big place, you have quite definitive opinions and stuff like that. But the actual places of where you're buying from and where you're drinking varies so much. And I'm going to have to, it's going to be a quite different publication this time. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm really like excited by it and what we're doing. But it's it's a lot of work. It's a hell of a lot of work. So the t-shirts and stuff I'm trying to like get to a place, but like saying, I have FOMO at things that often can't be had, but I used to try what I look for down the road while travelling, help me spend less. But the bourbon hype from Whisky Tube more than compensates. Yeah, Bruzel does a great job of that, doesn't he? But I really enjoy. I love watching bourbon content, more just because I think it's funny the way that you'll have to excuse me, Akil, when I say this, and don't take it the wrong way. Americans can sell. You're so good at selling, and it always feels like everything's not a sales pitch, but everything is like, oh my god, it's the greatest thing ever. It's this, it's that, and it's constant. And so you watch that, and it was part of that kind of made me start YouTube. I'd watch the Bruzo and stuff doing it, and the fact that Bruzo now just buys Springbank, doesn't know anything about it, which is hilarious. He's like, yeah, I'll get that one, I'll pay this, I'll pay that. And his Johnny Walker comment about Irish whiskey, it's just, it's mad. And I think it's more consistent, the content, the bourbon content. But there's some guys I've watched, the leaps and bounds they make, in terms of subscribers and stuff like that, and views. And it's all bourbon hunts. And I'm like, I wish we could do that here. We just don't have the scale at all. There's like, how many people are going to watch me drive to like, I don't know, Grimsby to look in a whiskey shop? It's not really that compelling, as opposed to like, I'm going from Orlando to Atlanta. Come with me. That's fascinating. Could you send? I tried to take a photo for you, but people moved before I could get the camera out. There were two separate people, not together, wearing Springbank hoodies at the box festival. I know. I got sent, Gojo, I get sent pictures of t-shirts and hoodies at the festival, and it was, honestly, it's weird as hell. It's weird as hell to see something that I've made and put out into the world and actually be existing in the world, and people be like happy to wear it out and about, and I was so happy about it, because really at the end of the day it doesn't have anything about me on it. That's the funny thing. If I was good at this, I'd be like, drinks whiskey and this and that. It's all just, but like, it's a bit of fun in the community. It's aye, but I appreciate you trying. It was in the big crowd. They never lined up again for another photo op. Representing everything in America as a sales pitch. I was going to say this as Bourbon Tube is more fun on the day-to-day and its release hype. To be honest, I do love the junkies and the mash and drum. Bourbon junkies are fantastic. I would love to get some of the whiskey, because they engage you, don't they? They engage you in such a way that you buy into them. You want to support them and do what they need to do, and the yin and yang to it. And I look at it and I'm absolutely jealous. I would love to have somebody involved in the channel that I could bounce off of. It's just not going to happen that way. But yeah, and the mash and drum, late mash and drum, Bruzel is Bruzel. I watched that. I think Whisky Tribe has had its trials and tribulations and are going through things, and I'll continue to support them, but it's sometimes it's a tough watch. Is it SLB Drinks? Love them. Love watching SLB Drinks. I just think they have there's a very calm approach to it all. In terms of like whiskey tube, like Scotch whiskey tube, it'd be great to know like who else, aside from this and the usual suspects, you're watching. Is there anybody that's new, came on the scene recently or anything like that, that's worth a watch? I think it's a very supportive scene, the whiskey scene on YouTube. And by that, it's more a case of how can we help support as well. And I don't think numbers matter so much as intent. I think the intent is, are you honest with your intentions, and it shows through. Like, it's timings in life can get in the way of putting content out, but as long as you are in it for the right reasons, then Whiskey Tube just sorts you out. Yeah, Curtis School. No, he is. Like a boozy Clint. Tribe has gone downhill ever since both guys. I didn't know that. Is that what happened? Is that? I still watch Daniel's reviews, but not Rex so much. Yeah, I need to do a bit of digging on that. If that's the case, Kyle, I had no idea. I think the biggest split up was the dynamic between Rex and Daniel, and I absolutely, they were a gateway in before I started doing any of this, before I had any intention of making whiskey content. It was watch Whiskey Tribe, and it was in a flat that I shared with my girlfriend, and I must have had like maybe 7 bottles of whiskey, I think I'd got up to, and it was like Johnny Walker, Hague Club, like gifts. I bought Scallywag, Timorous Beasties, because I thought she would like the labels, so I'll be able to get them in the house. And then after that, but I watched them avidly, and then moved on to I think As Everybody Does Ralphie, and then it was lockdown. I discovered Roy Aquavite, and then that content stream, and then watching what happened with Daniel Rex. And I can understand it from a business point of view and what they had to do and the change and the shift and whatever. But it's hard to put that, like, get that genie back in the bottle so much. Yeah, no, I saw that Daniel married Emma recently, but I didn't know anything prior to that. I assumed that they were just, but Emma being there, I remember when Emma left Whiskey Trip, well, left the thing, they did a big video about it and all that, and she went to Balcones, didn't she? I'm trying my hardest not to make this like some weird gossip bit, so that's why I'm being like quite pointed, being like, can you tell me exactly what happened? Because I'm no sure. And James is doing exactly what I'm doing inside, being like, really? Well, I don't know any of that, what happened. But yeah, anyway, so aside from that, the other channels and whatever, I think there's a lot of whiskey channels out there. If you watch whiskey channels, do me a favour, like, and this isn't for me, this is for them. Comment, give them a wee comment, give them a thumbs up, literally say like, appreciate you making this or whatever, because at the moment, I think I know a few creators that have pulled back and just stopped making stuff, because it just gets so demotivated, and my demotivation comes and goes as well. And the thing that keeps me going is it's like an Instagram comment, it'll be a message. The Patreon thing has like the motivation through the roof. Just the idea that people actually care enough to support me, like to make content, is staggering. And I've had people I know go, well, like, you're doing the Patreon? They're like, oh, how much you making? And I show them. And it's not about the money, it's about the intent and having people there. So if you're seeing a creator and you enjoy that, the creator's content, please let them know. Please let them know. John, don't worry, mate. Good night all. Thank you, Dave, for another great show. Appreciate you being here, mate. Just about to finish up. So you won't miss much. But feel free to put on catch up. Help with the views. And I'm just saying, James saying, I always thought Rex was more the one to watch for mischief. Yeah. He owns it though. Owns it all. So maybe he was always smarter. But yeah, guys, I think we'll wrap it up. I've done my drams. Great evening. I think we've all had a fantastic time, hopefully. If you're watching on catch up, please do leave a like and a comment below. For everybody that's joined live, as always, I appreciate you. You guys make the show. Saturday Night Drams wouldn't be the same without you. It'd just be me sat here talking to myself, getting to talk with you guys. But guys, have a lovely week ahead, and the next show will be in 2 weeks time. So we are on 8, 15, 20, 21, 22, 22nd of July will be the next one. But anyway, guys, all the best. Thank you so much. Till the next one. Bye.